In this video, we are going to talk about scope spaces in ClientPress. So scope spaces are a specific post type that we've built into ClientPress that allows you to create a portal where you can scope a project with a client. So one of the that we all have when we work with clients is really getting the scope dialed in to give a accurate estimate and then have the client follow along with how the changes in scope have affected their estimate. So here we are, WordPress dashboard, ClientPress. What you're going to want to do first is you need to go to settings and you need to enable the scope spaces. So in settings, you'll see this scope spaces tab, click on it and then click enable, and then you need to save. And in some hosts, you may need to flush your permalinks. So that would just be going to your settings and going to permalinks, and then just going to click save changes to make sure that they're flushed and cleared. Go over here now to ClientPress and you're going to see scope spaces in the tab. Click on that and then you need to add one. So we're just going to call this our test scope space here. And then you are going to either like assign an existing user, or you're going to invite the prospect. So if this prospect is already a user on your WordPress website, you just select them. If not, you just need to send them an invite. So what we would do is we publish it first, and then you enter their name and their email, click send invite. They'll get an email notification that they have a space available for them to take a look at. Now, we do recommend before you inviting them to at least set this up. So you go over here, and now you can see the area. So we have, this is what the client will see. And this is actually where you work as well. You can disable the option to show estimates at all, but in this case, I'm going to leave it open because that's the most common scenario. So I'm going to add a phase, and we're just going to call this phase 1. And we would just say that this is going to take 2 weeks, and then I'm going to do flat price for the phase instead of by line item. So I'll do that, and I'll say that this is going to be $500. And then if you needed to add any supporting documentation, you would just add the link here. Or maybe they need to fill out a form or something like that. You can do it all here. If you have, for example, like a PDF that you wanted to attach to this, you would just do that here. So I'm going to add the phase. We're going to call this phase 1, and then it's going to have 2 line items. So we'll just say this is our, we're going to say, let's pretend we're doing a website build. So they're going to select a domain, and then we're going to set up DNS, and then we're going to select host, and then we will give them an option. Here's where a description would go if you need one. Okay. And then let's just say we wanted to do an example link. We'll just do that. And then we add the item. Okay. So here is where we have a description. Now you can see that our estimate total is $500. So now let's add another phase. We would just call this phase 2. And we're going to price this one by line item. I'll add that here. I'm going to go over here to get some random text for us. What we'll do here is we're going to do a logo design. I'll put it in the description. We'll say it's a flat fee, and let's just say I charge $1,200 for that. We'll add that here. And you can see now we have our $1,200 plus $500, so the estimate total for the project has jumped up to $1,700. We'll go over here, we'll add another one, and we'll say, we'll do the favicon design, and we're just going to charge, $250 for that. And we'll add the item. And you can see that that's jumped up here. Then you could add phase 3, right? Let's just call this our launch phase. Set in a description. We're just going to say this is another flat fee. And we're just going to call this one 150 to go from launch. And then there you go. So this is for a client. And what you could do now is send it to the prospect. So if we wanted to, if we had the user assigned to this scope space and you wanted to send them this proposal, you can send it to them. When they're in the area, what you can do is you can have a discussion. So you would be able to discuss the scope with them. And then if you wanted to upload any files or references straight to this scope space, you could do that here. So it keeps it all centralized. And then we can send it to a prospect. And then if they were to accept it, we can convert this to a client portal so that we would go from prospecting to actually working with the client in a portal. And then if you send this to a prospect and they reject it, we can edit the brief and we'll change the version number. It bumps from V1 to V2. And then we would, be able to create another proposal and then send that back to a client, discuss it, iron it out, and then again that whole process can repeat, and you'll have version numbers that you can always look back on. You can change. I didn't add any time to these, but I could add this to be, let's just say this is going to be 30, and we'll say days. We can save that, and then this. Let's just say this is, this is going to be 10 hours. And so you have an option to do hours, days, weeks, and months as far as duration for these projects, and then it'll all adhere to your timeline. You have a little message here that's dismissible, so users can get rid of that, but you can set that to show them a message. And then if you have users with multiple portals and proposals, they can see them all here. And really, really easy way for you to manage your proposals. If you wanted to go to your overview, you'd now see in your pipeline that you have $2,100 in a proposal that is potential revenue for your business. And then we have our scope spaces. If you wanted to see all of them that you created, they're going to be right here in WP admin. So awesome. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our website's at clientpress.io.